And we're live. Hello and welcome to our virtual presentation of Professional Troublemaker, the Fear Fighter Manual. We are here today with author Luvvie Ajayi Jones and moderator KevOnStage. First and foremost, thank you so much for supporting Vroman's Bookstore by purchasing a ticket tonight. It's thanks to avid readers like yourselves who keep our business running during these tumultuous times. So thank you again for supporting your local independent bookstore. There will be an audience Q&A towards the end of this event. So to submit your questions, just use the Ask a Question button at the very bottom of the page. You can also vote for any questions you'd like, and they'll make their way to the very top of the list. Okay, so let me introduce our guests, and then we can get started. So Luvvie Ajayi Jones is the author of the New York Times bestseller, I'm Judging You, The Do Better Manual. A 17-year blogging veteran, Luvvie writes on awesomelylovvie.com, covering all things culture with a critical yet humorous lens. She's the host of the top-rated podcast, Rants and Randomness, and is the co-host of Jesus and Jolliffe. And joining her tonight is comedian, podcaster, filmmaker, and influencer KevOnStage, with close to 2 billion cumulative views across all platforms. Yeah, he has sold out 2 national comedy tours. This past year, he produced the largest virtual comedy club experience, the Keep Your Distance virtual comedy show.
Wow.
All right, so give a warm round of virtual applause for our guests and enjoy the talk, everyone.
Hello, friends. Welcome, Love Nation. Welcome, stage crew. I am just ecstatic to moderate my good friend, Luvvie Ajayi Jones, and her new book, Professional Troublemaker. If y'all don't know, Luvvie and I have been friends probably since 2013 or 14 or 15, actually. If you're a way back KevOnStage fan and you remember Cartoon Scandal, Luvvie picked up, I believe, the first episode of Cartoon Scandal and wrote about it in her blog. I think she posted on her Facebook, and it literally took up from there. I've been following ever since. We've been homies ever since, and it is my pleasure to chat with her. Luvvie, how are you today? Congratulations on your book. How are you feeling?
Man, listen, the book has lit up everything. I'm over here like, I don't even, oh Lord, it's a lot. It's a lot in the best way possible.
Absolutely. And congratulations. Luvvie was recently married. She is just recently the best. I've just been so happy and proud of you. But let's talk about why we're here. Professional Troublemaker. First of all, your first book, loved it. You are a God-given talented writer. Your book is as funny as you are. Your voice in the book helps me laugh. And your New York Times bestseller. I remember they thought you wasn't gonna sell them like you did, Luvvie. And they said, they love it selling them books. Oh, let them pay her mama, got her off a mortgage, love it and retired her mama. We gonna give her another book. So my question actually first, Luvvie's allowed me to make my own questions. My first question is, Jordan Peele talked about after Get Out, he was kind of like, dang, I'm kind of afraid to do the next thing because I don't want people to, feel like I didn't do this thing. Did you have any of that fear switching from that book, which you promoted amazingly, and saying, okay, it's now time to do my next thing?
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a reason why it took 4 years between books. I was like, how do I make sure I don't write a second book that sucks? Like I was like, book 1 was good. So how can I make sure book 2 doesn't suck? So I took my time in figuring out what book 2 was going to be about. Like, I didn't want to rush it and be like, just for the sake of getting another book out. So I was like, I will write this book when I know what I want to say. And when I knew what I wanted to say, I started the journey for book 2. But I think this book is even better than book 1.
Oh, what you talking, Luvvie? Why you think it's better?
I do think it's better. I think it's a better book. I think it shows my growth as an artist, as a writer, as a creative. It is the book that I needed even more than I needed I'm Judging You.
Yeah.
And, if we go 4 years after writing our first book, book 2 should be better. There's some people who come back and you be like, so what was you doing all this time? You was just not even doing what you were supposed to be doing. Like, how you suck. time. So I didn't want people to think book one was a fluke. So I was like, let me make sure I only write a book when I got something book worthy to say. And that's what I did.
What was the thing that hit you? Was it a moment? Was it a collection of feelings? What was the thing that made you say, this is what I want to write about. I'm now inspired.
So I actually got the idea for this book when I was on the way to Paris for a speaking engagement in 2018.
Okay.
I was like walking on the plane, and I was like, a line dropped in my head where I was like, I come from a long line of professional troublemakers. My grandmother was the one who I looked to.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, snap. And let me tell you, before then, my book agent, Kristen Keene Benton from ICM, she was talking to me. She was like, okay, so what are you going to write for your second book? And I was like, I don't know. And she said, there's something about your TED Talk that you should focus on. Kristen is a real one. She's amazing. And she sent me a set of dominoes.
Yep.
With a note that says, here is hoping you be the domino for yourself too. Looking forward to whatever the second book will be. So I took the dominoes that she sent me, I actually put them by my computer. So I would see them every day. So it was like reminding me, what's book two? What's book two? So when that line dropped in my head, I was like, she's right. I need to actually talk about what I talked about in my TED Talk on a deeper level, because people love the TED Talk. Like I still get messages every single day about that TED Talk, about how like it changed somebody's life or it made them do something different. So I was like, that's what I need to focus on. So I got the clean idea on the way to Paris. That whole trip was epic because I got engaged on that trip.
Woo, congratulations.
I was like, I done got my book idea. I'm engaged and whatnot. That was lit. So, and here it is.
So tell the people who don't know, haven't had a chance to read the book yet, what is a professional troublemaker? I know you said you came down from a long line of those. I know your grandma was one. What was it about her that you saw that you wanted to write about and that's been passed down to you?
I mean, we all know an old Black woman who you can't tell nothing. You know her. Like, who will cuss you out one hand and then be like, have you eaten? We do. We all know her. And my grandmother was definitely that. Like, she had the full spirit of uncheckable, just so loving and so kind. And she walked in the room and all the attention turned to her just because like that energy that she carried with her, the confidence she walked with. And professional troublemakers are people who kind of do that, but they're also truth tellers. They're the people who are saying what you're thinking, but you dare not to say for whatever reason.
Yeah.
They're the ones who sit in the meeting and tell you that idea is not that good about that campaign you want to do, right? They're the ones who tell your uncle who makes that terrible joke at dinner, like, let's not.
Right.
And I just think professional troublemakers are needed. We be out here, we make the world better. And I think troublemakers look all types of different ways. And the reason why I chose the 7 people who I chose to be in conversation with me, including you, are I wanted to pick people who were making trouble in whatever space that they're in. Right. Like people who saw something that they wanted to create or something that they need and want, figured out that it doesn't exist in some type of way, and then created it. And you you're definitely a troublemaker in that way. Like, you have KevOnStage Studios now.
We here.
Wow.
We here. I came here for you. I said, man, I got to do Love It Right. She ain't home office for me. She's studios.
Wait, Kev, first of all, just so y'all know, me and Kev been cutting up for the last 20 minutes before we even got on this thing. Kev came on talking about I couldn't just be in my house. I said, Kev, I'm in my house, but you got KevOnStage Studios now, so you have to show up correct.
Yeah, no, listen, man. It's funny about that, and I'll take a little bit of time on me because you brought me up, Luvvie. I didn't bring myself up.
Yes.
I don't even think I did it on purpose. People are like, "What made you do it?" Like, brother, I was hating from outside the club. I couldn't get in. I said,
hating from outside the club.
Well, it was like, I want to be in this industry. I want to be in Hollywood. I want to make TV shows. I want to do this. And I was either auditioning and not getting it, but that really wasn't that bad for me. What was really hurting me was, this happened last summer, Luvvie. I met with somebody, right? I was pitching a show about a Black church, right? Mm-hmm. A young pastor comes to a Black church and he's got an old Black church and he's got to turn it around and make it new, right? And a white man
A white man. Okay.
A white man told me, I don't think black people will get that. I said, how you gonna tell me? How you gonna tell me what black people will get? Maybe they will, maybe they won't. You don't know. I know you don't know. You can't tell me what we gonna get. And at that moment, I was like, I'm done pitching to people. How about I just make it and then let the people who I'm making it for decide? Because what he was really saying is, can I? Oh, and this is the other thing they got me, Luvvie. I don't know if it's gonna go in Middle America. Just say white. First of all,
Middle America. Who cares?
Say white. And first of all, there's black people in Middle America. St. Louis, Middle America. Blacks was up in there. Chicago, Middle America. Black people up in there. Just say white. Okay. So I was like, you know what? I'm good off of that. I'm gonna make the stuff that I want to see for the people that want to see it, and I'm gonna hire the people who I want to have in it, who are largely being overlooked by this. And I've had much more enjoyment in that. So thank you for choosing me. Before we even got on, you said something that was great. You said you need to find. We was talking about Zone of Genius, right? Yes. And I want to talk about that with you as well, because Big Leap Energy. You know, we all about that. But talk to me about firing yourself. I thought that really struck me when you said it just a little bit before we started.
Yeah, because me and Kev were talking about just the things that you don't have to do, like around us in this space. I think we're constantly thinking we got to know everything all the time. And I'm just like, you know what? I am really at a point where I am enjoying saying, I don't know. I want somebody else to do that because they're better at it than me.
Yeah.
And because we don't have to do everything. Like, there's a chapter in this book called Fire Yourself that I wrote that really was also written for me, because I have a hard time of firing myself. Okay. Right. I am a type A perfectionist who be like, I know a lot of good things. I'm really good at a lot of things. So then I assume that I can handle everything.
Yeah.
I end up being stressed out because I try to do my job and everybody else's job. So in this process, and as I'm building my company, I am starting to see that I am better when I stick to my zone of genius.
Yeah.
For those of you who have not heard the book or read the book, The Big Leap, it's a big piece in there. But the whole idea is you have a zone of genius, something that you are amazing at, that you're better at than most people. Right? When you do that thing, the rewards that you get are amazing. I wrote that chapter before I read the Zone of Genius piece. But
really?
Yes. I hadn't read Zone of Genius before. I don't really read books while I'm writing my own book.
Got it. But you don't want that person's voice to get in your voice.
Yeah. But firing myself was something that I saw was essential because I started feeling burned out. Like, again, we met 6-7 years ago.
Yep.
Y'all see me and Kev now, and like, you know, you see all these other people who are in our space, and you see us bigging each other up. It's not because we just met.
Yeah,
we were all, before we were stars, before the glow up. Okay, before people got fancy in studios and mics and whatnot.
Yeah,
we were putting in work. Like, we were trying to figure out everything and do everything just to sustain our art. And we did the thing nobody was paying us for. So you talk about Cartoon Scandal. When you did cartoon, nobody was paying you for Cartoon Scandal. You was doing that on the strength.
I was doing that on the strength of, I freaking love that show. I stayed up. People still got mad at me that I didn't make more seasons because I got a regular job. But I was like, yo, I had to stay up till like 3 o'clock in the morning making that.
Same.
I remember they'd be so mad that your recaps weren't up when they woke up. Like, fam, I gotta write. I have to write it. And I get it. I loved it. But like, you know, I was literally writing notes during the show, rewatching it, typing out the dialogue, animating, which wasn't really animating, singing, you know what I'm saying? Editing, all that myself. But that's because it was my zone of genius. Now I'm sitting in the studio. I had to have my boy Tony hook this up, because now this, and I'm pretty technologically savvy, but I ain't all this savvy. So I said, man, can y'all help your boy out and let me just sit in front of the camera and let somebody else do the camera stuff? You work your zone of genius, I'll work mine. And that's a big part of why I've had more success over the last year.
Yes.
He's been letting go, not taking on more.
Yes. Like, so for me, scandal recaps, my scandal recaps were 3,500 words.
Yeah.
The show would go off. I would use my live tweets as my outline, and then I'd go write for 3 hours and write a recap that was so exact that if you missed the episode and you read my recap, you didn't miss anything. To the point where I end up finding out that Shonda and the cast of Scandal would be on set filming Scandal, reading my recaps. So
really?
Yeah. Like,
wow.
they be like, we are reading your recap of the last episode, right?
Wow.
Yeah, because I was in my zone of genius.
Yeah.
When I write, so there's also a zone of competence.
Yep. Talk to them about it, Luvvie. Tell them about it so the people can know.
Let them know. But so zone of competence is something that you do okay. Like, it's okay. It's all right. Yep. So we often spend a lot of time in our zone of competence, and we think that's the work. Mm-hmm. I found, especially in this last 2 years, that I have been operating mostly in my zone of competence, not my zone of genius.
Yes.
What that means is when I write, the returns that my company gets, that I get from me writing, go. But when I get stuck in the operations of it all, when I'm sitting here on 8 meetings a day, like talking to the finance accountants, talking to this other person, trying to do this thing, when I am not writing, my company loses because my time is valuable in my words. That's where I soar. So I am firing myself in everything that is not writing. I'm like, I am the ideas person. I come up with marketing. I am the visionary of the company. I should not be in the weeds of it. And one of the things that's tied to us not firing ourselves is we're afraid of somebody dropping the ball on our behalf.
Luvvie A. Jones. Okay. Can we talk, Luvvie? Can we talk?
We can talk.
Can we just talk? Okay. So today, right? I'm hanging out with my wife during the day. Okay. I got an assistant and I got a production crew here. Okay. Yeah. We got all these systems in place, and I'm working on not micromanaging. Okay. I'm working on it. I used to be a terrible micromanager, and I'm talking about yesterday. So I check in with my assistant about 12. I say, hey, can you make sure there's somebody here for production, for Luvvie's thing? Because I don't know how to work this camera stuff yet. I don't want to be caught. And it was calendared. It was scheduled. I said, okay, micromanager Kev says, hey, who's going to be there for me? Who's going to be there? But I said, letting people do their job, Kev, let people work, right? I ain't hearing nothing from nobody. So around 5 o'clock, I said, hey, who's going to be there? My business partner calls me. We forgot. Assistant forgot. So now I'm like, micromanager Kev is like, this is why you check everybody every day and you make sure, and then this is why I'm wrong. And this, but the truth of the matter is, we all dropped the ball. Even if I had been doing it all myself, I still would drop the ball. So it's better to work those systems, because now I have, regular Kev, I don't have this background, I don't have this quality sound. Kevin, who lets people do what they do, gives me this. But I've got to allow people to say, because the truth is, even when I was doing everything, even I was making mistakes. So I got to give people the same grace that I gave myself when they make mistakes, because we all growing together, and that's why we grow and win. Like, I'm so happy. Like, I'm gonna tell you, I don't want to overtalk you, Luvvie.
No, you good.
People are like, Kev, how do you do it all? You work like crazy. How do you sleep? Honestly, guys, believe it or not, I sleep well and long. I don't believe in that no sleep, no grind. I'll be in the bed at 9 p.m., 10 p.m. I'm good in sleep. Get up around 6 and start my workout, start my day. And throughout the day, I take breaks, because after I read The Big Leap, I read this book about energy. I cannot think of the name. I'm sorry. I'll get it to you guys later. But it was about managing your energy, not necessarily your time. So your writing is my content creation, stand-up marketing ideas, but I don't need to edit them. I got a hilarious Busta Rhymes video that we just shot. I'm the idea. Amani got the suit. Tony built the green screen. Somebody else did the lights. Somebody else did the sound. Somebody else edited it. All I do is come in and get covered in foil, write the song.
Get covered in foil. I'm telling you.
Pick up the foil, Luvvie. Somebody else picked up the foil.
That's how it's supposed to be. So we spend a lot of time being like, I got to pick up the foil. Then let me tell you something right now. I already told my team at this point will fire me. They fire me. Look, chapter 12 of the book is called Fire. Yeah. But my team fires me. They will have that I never even realized exists. And they'll come to me with the thing. And I'm like, thank you, because I am probably the bottleneck. I will be unproductive on y'all behalf. And y'all don't need that. Y'all don't need me in your way. So when you, and I think a lot of it is ego too, right?
Yeah, was for sure.
It's ego. It's like you think, well, I built it. I got to be the one to do this thing. They're going to drop my baby. It is an act of trust and faith to step back and say, you know what? Even if the ball is dropped, it's not catastrophic, right? Even if the mistake is made, it's not going to blow up the ship. Like every mistake is not going to blow up what you built, your name, all of that. So it's a constant thing that I'm working on, telling myself, trying to step back about, and being like, my fear of losing control, it's all tied together. I am a control freak in all ways.
Oh, love it. This is why we get along so well. I am you and you are me.
We get it.
I got to touch it. Can I just touch it and make sure it works? Let me just, can I put let me click. Let me hold the keyboard. Can I trust you? But let me have it on my side just in case it don't work. I know you get it behind, but just let me hold it. But the truth is that's how you grow. And I want to shout my wife out. She's the professional troublemaker in my life. She's in the chat. She is the queen of firing me. Listen, she said, I'm the worst negotiator in the history of the world because I'm an artist and I just want to do stuff. I don't really care about the money. And she'd be like, negotiate another deal. And I'm going to take your life away. Negotiate.
Do it again.
Do it again. I'm going to pop your mouth. If you now, they don't even allow me on the phone when something needs to be negotiated. They said, and I quote, Kevin, all you can say is, I'll get my team to give you a number. Don't you ever out of your mouth even suggest something, because every time you do, you mess it up.
Shout out. Same. Okay. I am not allowed. I can't even be on calls on anything at all that have to do with money. Don't you have me, because I will overpromise myself so quick. I'd be like, yeah, I can do that. Absolutely. I would love to do that. And they're like, ma'am, is this even worth your time? Is this worth your time? My speaker's agent emailed me last week and said, Luvvie, do you trust me to decline things that don't make sense without running it by you? And I said,
Luvvie!
I was like,
go, Luvvie, go, Luvvie, go. Because my boy said this, and I'm just so excited to talk. Oh my gosh. He said, your level of growth isn't by how many people on your team can say yes for you. It's by how many can say no. Because when somebody else on your team can say no for you, then you can grow.
Damn, drag me. Damn, drag me.
He came in my house. He had me under the covers. He was like, I'm going to talk to you. I said, because listen. But guess what, though? My brother, who's my business manager and my personal manager, he is an outstanding negotiator. And when he took over for my bookings, I was getting $500 to do stand-up comedy. And I'm talking about KevOnStage with a lot of numbers. He said, Kev, you're never going to get to $5,000 a show if you don't start saying no to 500. So while we're working on raising that rate, you're going to have to lose and take some no's. Otherwise, it's always going to be 500. So, and
also keep in mind that 500, right? If they turn down 10 500s and you accept 1 5,000,
then you made your money and you only had to work once.
That's it. So you gotta, here's the thing. All money ain't good money, and all money ain't your money. Okay. All money is not good money, and all money is not your money. So you have to, that scarcity mindset that makes you say yes, yes, yes to everything because you don't want to miss out on anything is actually what's holding you back. Like that fear. Come on. Do a shout. Come on. Let it.
Scarcity mindset. You in your evangelist bag, Luvvie. Go on, talk good, evangelist.
Come on. I'm trying to tell them. Look, all money is not good money, because there's some money that you will get that will make you regret your life. You'd be like, why did I? Who said? Let me tell you something, Kev. Recently, it happened with me. I said yes to a campaign that already was lower than my fee, but I said, okay. They were like, we need you, Luvvie. And I was like, okay, it's Black History Month.
Yeah.
I said, I'm going to do it, okay?
Yeah.
I decided to do it. And let me tell you something. It's always the people who don't want to pay you your fee, who want to scope creep and ask for too much. Already you ain't paying me my worth. Then you have the nerve to want to ask me for extra shit and make my life difficult. Then I go, you know what? It's a lesson. Once again, every single time that I betray myself in that way, I regret it.
Are you a prophet? Are you? Because you are right in my life right now. You are literally, I'm sorry, people. I know this for y'all. I see your comments and whatnot, but this for me and Luvvie. This for me and Luvvie first. Luvvie, I'm talking about, so scarcity mindset for me will look like something that was the most money I ever made 2 years ago, right? Is the base now. And now I don't want to let that go. And now you talking about all kind of stuff. And I'm like, bro, I don't even do this for that no more. But because I was a poor little black boy my whole life, I don't want to let nothing go. Now I'm on set, pissed off all day.
Pissed.
Listen, Andy Mineo said something that really convicted me. He said, never go to something you accepted with an attitude.
Ooh.
Do your best. And then when it's done, evaluate your priorities and don't let it happen again.
That's it. I literally, I'm trying to tell you again, boundaries. I talk about it's like when we end up crossing our own boundaries, our own money boundaries.
Yeah.
It does not go well often. Like each time you're like, that was my bad. You know what? That was my bad. And to your point, the fact that this is also what happens with success. Mm-hmm. You keep seeing yourself as who you were 5-10 years ago.
Yes, ma'am.
Not realizing that levels have changed, the name has changed, the platform has changed. So while you're still like, I'm just Kev, they're seeing Kev on stage, right? And we want to be of service with our gifts. So we're like, yes, we want everybody to be able to have access to our gifts. So it is with this servant leadership in mind that we say yes, right? And then we realize that we might want to serve, but people want to take advantage of us.
Can you get out of it? Can you enough? I mean, really, Luvvie, what do you mean to harm me? I mean, literally, I knew we was just gonna be talking, but you are inside of my life right now.
I know it, but that's because we've all come up together and we're all in the same spots. We're all feeling the same thing, and in this, it's the same problem. And when people will be like, "Oh, the level up, the glow up happens," our problems don't stop. The champagne problems change, right? The problem is
you're feeling guilty because you literally can't help everybody. And there's so many, and then you got to deal with the, people not liking you and people coming for you just because you have a platform. When I was small, little KevOnStage on Periscope, I never got dragged because it was just me and my people. But now all of a sudden you got this platform, you got to be responsible. I'm like, and because I've been growing one by one, right? Yes. It don't really feel like 1 million followers to me. Or 2 million or whatever, it still feel like the same 200 or 300 people on Periscope. But now people get this. I'm like, hold on,
let me tell you what happened. Let me tell you exactly what happened. You used to be David, but you became Goliath. Let me tell you what happened. We used to be David, okay? We used to be David when we were the underdogs, when we were doing cartoon scandal and scandal behind our house. Nobody was paying us because we were just doing this thing for the love. We were David, okay? When we had 3,000 followers on Twitter, and we were cracking jokes and wasn't nobody looking at us and expecting us to do nothing. And then we leveled up and we became Goliath, but we still saw ourselves as David, okay? We still saw each other as David. And then what happens is Goliath is to be vanquished and conquered.
Every time.
Goliath is the target, right?
Yeah.
So when you become Goliath, now you become the target. The people who used to cheer you on, who you've now passed in the career ladder, are now seeing you as competition. They see you as a problem. Yes, we are Goliath now, but we still see each other as David because we're humble, right? We just want to serve. We just want to give the world our gifts, but we didn't realize that we stopped being David.
Whoo! Okay, listen, me and Luvvie could do this all night. Literally, I could do this for 3 hours, but I know y'all paid y'all money, and part of the experience is we gonna get to some of y'all questions. Okay, so I'm gonna do that, Luvvie, because I know we got to keep time. You know, I got to keep time.
People said, look, people in the comments like shouting. Okay,
listen, I did not expect for this to hit me in such a way. I would personally request you mind your business, Luvvie. Okay. And leave me out of your prophetic word. I feel like the Lord was like, Kev, this is gonna be for you though. How about that? How about you think it's for the people and to help promote Luvvie's book? I'm gonna use the prophetess right now for you personally. Okay. So in an attempt to get the pressure off me, because I'm sweating under here. Okay. I feel like Luvvie won't mind hers. I'm gonna get to some of y'all questions. Okay, I'm gonna read the first one because y'all have upvoted these. So I'm gonna read this verbatim. Luvvie, forgive me, my LASIK ain't came in good yet. The question says, I feel like this is such an important topic. I'm sorry, let me read slower because I'm so excited. I feel like this is such an important topic for women of color in particular. Those of us in professional settings often have to temper ourselves, think twice, 3 or 4 times, and always be cognizant of how we're seen. Was there one incident that was the straw that broke the camel's back for you where you embraced your inner troublemaker? And that's from Bethany.
That was not one thing, but I think I've always been the woman who did not internalize the fact that she was told she wasn't enough in the ways that the world might. For Black women, especially, like, you know, we're told constantly to change something about us, that there's something broken about us.
Yeah.
That we're too aggressive, that we too soft, we talk too much, we do this thing too much.
Yeah.
And I've been this girl since I was little. Like, I've been this person since I was like a young girl. Like, even if I got in trouble, I would always say that something was not true. I would be like, you know, that's not fair. And I'd be like, I'll take the punishment. But here's the thing is, I think because I've been so sure of who I am, I think the truest versions of who we are is like us as 7. Before the world abuses it out of us, insults it out of us, traumatizes it out of us. The problem is I never stopped being this person. So I didn't have to re-find her when it was time.
Yeah.
So I think that's what we have to do is, who were we before the world told us that we were not good enough? Go back to that person and do not let the world convince you otherwise. Like, we'll constantly get the message. The message is not going to stop that you're not enough. Like, the messaging doesn't stop that you got to be somebody completely different. But what you have to do is insist on not taking it on because it's not your business.
I low-key held back tears. Okay. I have asked you politely to stop, but you won't. You just pick a different part of my life to pick apart. So it's fine, Luvvie. It's fine. At this point, just do whatever you want to do. I want to make one quick note. Melissa and I are dealing with this as parents for our kids. When TD Jakes talked about this when he was a kid, like, he was always asking questions and talking, and his family's like, boy, hush. You know how Black parents do. And that's what he became. So I got a young son at home, but that boy is a professional troublemaker.
Yes, come on, Jojo.
But at the same time, he's almost a doggone professional podcaster. So we are trying to nurture him and not tear him down. Same thing with my older son. And you just confirm that. So please leave me alone. Okay. Next question comes from Angela. Luvvie and Kev, what were your biggest roadblocks and how did you overcome them? And what are your roadblocks now?
Kev, you answer that first.
Okay. I'm going to tell you, this is a roadblock that developed recently that I had to accept. It's human nature to desire to be liked. Okay. I was almost paralyzed with fear for a good couple of months in 2020 because for the first time in my career, I was not liked openly. I had never been dragged on Twitter. I've been trying to avoid it. And for the first time, something that I did with good intentions was taken as bad intentions. Yep. Something that I wasn't aware of, people were well aware of. I woke up to a firestorm of tweets and articles, and I said, oh no, this is, and my control factor, I tried to control it. Sat my butt down in therapy.
Amen.
Whoo, Luvvie, let me tell you what, wouldn't have made it without therapy in person.
Never would have made it. You hear me?
Never would have made it. Personal life, professional life, and married life. All blessed through therapy. My therapist said, oh, you think you can control how people see you. Once you realize that no matter what you do, you can't control it. You can't control whether people like you or not. And at the end of the day, that's not even your fault or your problem.
or your business.
Present yourself as the truest version of yourself and let those who like. My roadblock was letting go of Christians not approving of how I live my life, how the jokes that I tell, and non-Christians approving of my other choices. Once I realized and let it go that people won't like me, people who used to like me will no longer, and they're gonna be vocal about it. People will bait me into stuff because my name is big, and you just gonna have to deal with it because the alternative is to work back at Boeing, which I'm not finna do. Then I was like, oh, now I can be myself. I give you permission not to like me. I give you, people be like, I'm disappointed in you. I disappoint myself every day, baby.
Every day, baby.
It's fine. I'm supposed to be eating healthy. Luvvie, did I stop by 7-Eleven right before this? Yes, I did. Did I eat kale? No, I did not. Okay. Did I see donuts in a thing that's probably 12 hours old? Yes. Did I eat them? Uh-huh. You ain't special because you're disappointed in me. I disappoint myself, my wife, my kids, baby. I don't even know you. I don't even know you.
No, Kev, you. My chapter 7 of this book is called Fail Loudly, where I talk about the time I trended on Twitter because people decided to drag me about some shit.
Oh, you wrote about that, Luvvie?
Kev.
You wrote about it, Luvvie?
I had to do it. Let me tell you, seeing my name trend on Twitter, you want to talk about therapy? I went to my therapist's office and my therapist said, you are exhibiting symptoms of PTSD.
Really?
Yes. Because somebody literally tried to destroy my career. Like not just somebody, multiple people tried to destroy my career. Like,
yes.
I mean, created a whole email address dedicated to trying to affect my money. And somebody literally posted on Facebook, I want to destroy her career.
Wow.
It was that deep.
I didn't realize it was that bad. I knew it was bad, but I didn't realize it was that bad.
When I tell you, there are publications that wrote pieces about me that I'm like, I would never give you an interview ever again in your life. Like, I can be doing your publications persona non grata about me. All right.
Yeah.
We do not keep our name out your mouth, fam. Like, we not speaking, we not talking. And the person who lit the fire, I'm like, fam, I sold more books than you, but it's okay.
Talk your talk.
Talk it. Look. But honestly, what it taught me, and again, like y'all see me, and I say it's not my business, it still makes it hard.
Mm-hmm.
When you have arrows, thousands of arrows pointing at you. It knocked me off my square for a year.
A year?
Oh man. And it took a toll on me in a big way. And I put all that energy into this book, and I was like, oh, don't worry, the best revenge is to come back and do this better.
Listen.
But to your point, one of the things that you just said where you were like, I'm a disappoint. I tell people, whatever pedestal you have me on, take me off it. I don't belong on any pedestal that you might place me on. I am, because you will set me up for failure if you think I would never disappoint you.
I tell my fans that all the time. Do not put me on any pedestals. I am a regular person whose gift made room for her. Yeah.
And who was able to build a career that she ain't planned because God's favor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I am not the person who is like flawless. That person doesn't exist, but I'm not. I'm petty.
Yeah.
I am cantankerous sometimes.
Yep.
I look like I have it all together. I don't half the time. Okay.
Right. Me neither, Luvvie. I wore these pants. This is my 3rd day in a row. I just can't stop. I just set them next to the bed and pick them back up. I'm sorry, y'all. That's
what I'm saying. That's why I was like, bro, let me tell you, I would never be the person who's like, I am going to be perfect. What I am is somebody who's learning out loud. What I am is somebody who is a forever student. I will make mistakes. I will say something you do not like and disagree with one day. It might be soon. I need you to expect me to make mistakes, because if you do not expect me to make mistakes, you are setting me up to fail for when I do. Because then what people love to do, again, with Goliath, is you want to knock them off their square, right? People love to humble us real quick because all of a sudden we big. All of a sudden we target. They want to bait us. They want to be like, come at her crazy because you're going to catch me one day and I'm going to let you have it. But if I let you have it, then it becomes Luvvie's the bully. When you came at me first, fam, because you forgot that the TED Talk Luvvie, okay, It's still from Chicago, still Nigerian, still got a sharp tongue, and might let you have it. I will cut you down for size. So if you catch a long day, you might catch that version of Luvvie, not the chill one. That's like, give him grace, give him grace. Okay, girl, that's not your business. One day I will make it my business.
Right.
And it's not going to be nice. So on that day, just remember I said this. Just on that day, when somebody comes at me crazy, and I let them have it, remember this Luvvie that's like, I told you to look out for it. That's it.
Right. I love that so much. That actually gives me some, not sympathy, but assurance, right? Because our job takes place in the public, right? And we are criticized often in comments on every platform, all 6 platforms. Often, I don't search my name. I just use.
Oh God, no! We can't search our names at all.
I can't do it. The further I get away from my Patreon, the less of a home game it is. Now I'm a Patreon. That's my safe space, and even there, sometimes people trip.
My safe space.
Yeah, we got to have those. But out there in the world, Twitter, what? It's pandemonium. It's no man's land out there.
It is madness. It is pure dumpster fire. We don't want it.
And I take solace that, like me, it hit you for real. Because it hit me for real. I was like, I was off balance for a minute. I was just like, and I couldn't get it. It was like, I just couldn't get it for a while. My wife will tell you, my therapist will tell you. I was like, oh, snap. Oh, damn, man, I'm getting hit left and right.
Same.
But it helped me find myself. And I don't think I could be who I am now and who I'm going to be if it hadn't happened. I feel like
that moment.
I needed it. I needed a reality check that you've gone beyond the safety zone. You're out there. You wanted this. There's a negative drawback of this, and you can't control it, baby. So what you want to do? You want to stay here forever? Because
where do you
want to go? Go ahead, Luvvie.
I missed it when that whole thing happened with you. Because typically when I see my people in that fire, I will reach out and be like, yo, I see you. I feel it. Because you know what is trash also that happens during moments like that is people who you think are your people will also then join the fray.
Oh, yeah.
And you go, oh, word? Oh,
yeah.
Thank you for this learning experience. Now I can cross your name out. Arya Stark from Game of Thrones, I have my own list. I got my own list because people have short memory. All of a sudden, when they see you in the Twitter fire, they want to add their own names. And then 3 months later, all of a sudden they're like, oh my God. You're like, hold on. Were you not part of the peanut gallery? I have a long memory. My petty is strong and long. Okay. Strong and long.
I quote this line from Thanos all the time because it always happens. People always end up having to come back. Thanos sat there when the Avengers was walking up to him and he said, you could not live with your own failure. And where did that lead you? Back to me. And I got big back to me. Oh, now I remember you. Fancy seeing you here again. Well, wow. Look what we have here. I want to shout out Yvonne. When I was going through, Yvonne hit me and was like, Kev, this girl, don't even engage. She tried to get me. Trust me, you're not going to win. Just hush. I got you. You're going to be good. And I said, man, thank you. I had a couple other friends who hit me on the side and be like, you good? You're going to take this L, but I got you. But thank you. You're going to take this. But more important than that, I had my wife who, if I lose it all, I got her. I got these kids who don't care. My wife, if I worked at Target, she'd be like, well, shoot, you closing or you opening? Am I making dinner or breakfast? And that is so important to have some people in your life who are there regardless of your success or failure and not tied to anything like that. Because the bigger you get, the more people you feel like are just around for what they can get out of you or the benefit of the relationship. And those people who are not, are so much more important. Okay, let me get another question in because I want to make sure these people get their questions. Okay.
Jones, who's my person? Who usually everybody's texting him like, is she good? Okay. So I feel like it's Alana Sanders or Elena. Forgive me if I mispronounced it. She says, can you please give your definition of troublemaker and please explain the difference between a troublemaker and a person who makes trouble, i.e. starts trouble or drama, aka a poop stirrer? I'm concerned people don't know the difference. Insert side eye here. Yes. So a professional troublemaker, the reason why we are professionals is we have a cause. We're not doing it just because we want to be contrarian and want to be trolls. We ain't gonna challenge you just because we want to be devil's advocate. Like Satan never asked to be, he didn't ask for a doula. Who asked you to be a devil's advocate? So troublemakers are literally people who like, I think this needs to be said. And it's not gonna come from like a hateful place.
Yeah.
It's a place of necessity. Like if this is how I want to make sure you have your stuff together. So that's the difference. That is a simple difference. You got to call.
I love that. I love that. Fighting for the cause. Okay. I my LASIK ain't good. I can't see this name, but they say, hey, Luvvie, does fear and anxiety coincide? Does the Fear Fighter manual address both?
Yeah. Fear is anxiety. Like, fear is anxiety on steroids. And the book does talk about it, because the reason why I even wrote this book is because we don't stop being afraid. I don't stop being afraid.
Yeah.
It's not that all of a sudden it's like, oh, I wake up and I'm like, fearless day, even though I'm wearing the t-shirt that says fearless.
Right.
A merch store very soon. We're going to get to that. But it's not that I'm fearless. It's that I just don't let my fear make me do less. I just be like, all right, I know I'm afraid. I'm going to do that thing anyway. And I think a lot of times we're thinking about the worst case scenario of what could happen if we do that thing. Right. But here's the thing. Don't opt out of the best case scenario because you're afraid of the worst case scenario that might not come. Okay?
Say it again, Luvvie, because I don't think they heard it clear. Maybe it crackled. Say it one more time, Luvvie.
Do not opt out of the best case scenario because you are afraid of the worst case scenario that might never come. You created a whole dragon in your head, and that dragon don't even exist. Slay the dragon yourself, right? So ask for that raise, and the worst they can do is tell you no. That no is not going to kill you. The no will not leave you worse off, but the yes can have you be better. So that's why you have to do that thing. That's scary. Like, you just got to be like, well, what if they say yes? What if they say yes?
Listen, if you don't ask, it's already no now. It's already no. If you ask and it's no, then it's still what it just was. You can only really improve because it's already no.
That's it.
Listen, I talk on how to do this, right? So 2 years ago, we shot everything in my home, right? And I remember clearly we had shot a whole production day, and this person that I didn't know well was instead of leaving after their shoot, they sitting in our living room on the couch with their feet up, right? It was a white. My wife was like, we gonna have to get an office because I know what you're trying to do. My living space got to be my living space. The kids trying to go to bed, right? We went from my wife's office, which was our first recording studio. For 6-7 years, all I did was record on my iPhone in my house. We went to a small racism office where we got kicked out. Then we went to 6 weeks before the pandemic, our first official office podcast studio. And then the same year, Luvvie, same year, a sound stage, right? This whole time, most people are like, I couldn't do it. What if it don't work? And I'm like, but what if it do though? Because it's only because of these circumstances that this was available at this price. It's only because of the pandemic that I could do Keep Your Distance. I would have never thought of that, right? It's only because of that. These circumstances are not finite, right? Eventually the pandemic will subside. Eventually we'll go back to the world as we know it in some way. So either you capitalize or you don't and you miss it.
And here's the thing, like, to your point around that, my TED Talk is actually really what like convicted me to write this book, because I said no to it twice. Because I was afraid. Yeah, Kev. I was afraid that I wasn't ready, that I was gonna bomb, because they asked me to do it May 2017 was when they first came with the ask for the event that was in November. And I was like, yo, I ain't got no time, because TED don't play about their stuff. Like, they make you rehearse 1,000 times and you got to coach all that stuff. And I'm afraid that I ain't got time for that. So I'm just going to let that be. They came back 3 months later. I said no again because I was like, ooh, the day of TED, I'm actually booked and busy. Because I was emceeing and keynoting a conference in New York. TED was in New Orleans. And they came back the third time, 3 weeks before TED. 3 weeks before TED. I was like, oh, I'm going to go kick it with my friends at TED for one day that I can be there. Cheer them on as they're doing their talks. So when I emailed them for a day pass, they was like, if you can come, we want you to speak. And I said,
hey, man, I didn't ask y'all all that. I said, can I come? What? I don't want to be.
And I literally was about to send another email that was like, nah, I can't make that. That's kind of crazy. I wrote the paragraph up and everything. It was like, oh, I ain't going to be able to make that.
Hold on, Luvvie. After that, you said, matter of fact, I looked at the wrong date. My bad.
My bad. I literally was about to send this email to be like, no, I'm good. Never mind. And I called my girl Unique, who we both know.
Unique Jones Gibson. Woo! That's
Jones Gibson.
She's Professional Troublemaker of the Year in my book, 2020, 2021.
That's the homie right there. And Unique said, and I said, so Ted is asking me to do this talk in 3 weeks, which is crazy. Like, I'm gonna have to write a whole new talk and memorize it and do all these things. And I don't think I'm ready for that because everybody else has had a coach for the last 4 months on their talk. They've had they rehearsed all that stuff. And Unique, it was a Sunday night. I was standing by my kitchen counter, and Unique literally was like, "Everybody ain't you though." She was like, "Everybody ain't
about it." She right about it.
She was like, "You've been on stages. That's been your coaching. You have the credentials. So I need you to get off my phone and go kill this talk." And she hung up on me before I could even respond to her.
Did she really?
She straight was like, "Get off my phone. Go write this talk. Delete that email. Stop playing these games." And like pressed end. And then send me a WhatsApp message that's like, you gonna do this talk. And I say, "You right. All right." Snatch
we need those people in our corner, boy. I'm telling you.
Man. I was like, what Unique did in that moment was loan me courage that I didn't have for myself.
Loan me courage?
He loaned me courage that I did not have for myself. And that's why I wrote this book, because I want this book to be what loans other people courage for those moments when they're like, I don't know if I'm ready for that, or should I do that thing, or should I have that conversation? I want my book and I want who I am to loan people courage and power in the moments when they're just about to say no to a yes opportunity that God had for you, right? Because imagine if I had not done that talk that now has 5.6 million views.
Oh, man.
That has gotten me so much money because I've gotten so many speaking engagements from it. That has made so much impact on people. Imagine if I was allowed to say no because I was afraid of bombing. Imagine how this thing that transformed everything would not have happened. So how many times in our lives have we said no to yes things because we are afraid of whatever, rejection, failure, success, disappointment, whatever that thing is. And it really had me being like, I need you to talk about that. I need you to get people to understand that you got to start being intentional about the fact that you're going to be afraid, but you're going to have to do it scared anyway. That's why I wrote it.
Listen, that is, so powerful. So powerful. I the words escape me because it hit me so much. I remember, when I was a young comic, I was not afraid of bombing. Right, I was not on stage. I was just Kevin Fredericks at this time. Nobody knew me. I was fearless, and I bombed. I'm talking about took hot L's. Right, we keep your distance. I was kind of stuck. Right, little known secret. The best part about touring is I get to work this set out for a month or two, get it, and then I memorize. Basically, it's like giving your same TED talk over and over and over and over.
Yeah,
it's on autopilot. I can tweak it and all that, but for the most part, the base is there. Pandemic comes. I got the stage crew whom I love. They pulling up to every keep your distance. And the audience who's there is the same audience. All of a sudden, I can't do these same jokes every week. And I also can't do my same tour jokes because when I eventually go back on tour, I got to use those jokes. So you know what I have to do for the first time in my life? With the name KevOnStage, I got to go back to fearless Kevin Fredericks. And guess what happened, Luvvie? I bombed. A Thanksgiving show, by the grace of God, it was the one show we didn't tape live, by the grace. And I took a hot pile of L to the face. I'm talking about took it. Nobody laughing. Friends in the audience looking at me like I can't fake it. It ain't hitting it. And guess what, Luvvie? Nothing happened.
Nothing happened.
The next comedian came up, did their job. I came back 6-7 times throughout the night, worked the jokes up, and by the end, people had forgotten the bomb. And guess what it told me? I could still fail.
Yes.
As long as you fail valiantly. And since that moment, I've created all types of new material, all kinds of stuff. When I go back out on the road eventually, I am more confident because the worst thing happened. You watch Ozark?
I love Ozark.
Remember when, okay, spoiler alert, when Jason Bateman's character when the cartel person caught him.
Yeah.
And he was in that cave, and then he lived. He came back. He was like, that's it. The worst thing I thought could ever happen happened, and I survived. It was like I was reimagined. It was a new awakening. The worst as I imagined it wasn't really actually that bad.
It wasn't that bad. It's the dragon.
It's the dragon.
The dragon was never there, right? And the freedom to fail is also something we need to give ourselves.
Yeah.
I named that chapter "Fail Loudly." You have to know. Just wait for the fail. Like it's not a matter of if you will fail. It's a matter of when. Okay. But understand that on the other side of it is like victory, because you will be better because you failed. Like that's why I had to include that chapter particularly, because I'm like, I need y'all to see when I was in the middle of a storm that I actually didn't see the way out of. I actually was like, is this thing going to actually end everything I've worked for? Yeah. But the thing is, people didn't get you there. They're not going to take you off it. Your purpose is bigger than what everybody going to say on Twitter and what somebody who don't like you, at your job says about you. Yep. That moment that you failed, but all the things that you've already done before then will also prop you up. Your name. This is why your name is important. Kev, you failing and bombing that set didn't have people saying you're not funny, because they've seen you be funny for 20 years. Right. So your name will stand up even in the moment. And honestly, that's the one thing I realized when I failed too. I'm not even sure if I put it in the book, but it's that when you are not looking, the people who will support you quietly and loudly. Sowed into, during the sowing season, all of them will be there to remember. She was there. She's not that person they were talking about. Kev ain't that person. I've seen Kev. The trieds and trues will stay with you. It's the fake ones that leave. That would be like, I was just waiting for this moment. You know them. They was just waiting.
Just wait. And I know you, hey, listen, you watch it, baby. Enjoy the show. It's okay. Because at the end of the day, even if I love sports. Yeah. LeBron James, who's my favorite player of all time, he could go out tonight and go 1 for 7 million.
Correct.
And it doesn't change the stuff he's already done.
Correct.
And it's not going to change the stuff he's going to do.
Correct.
And I need to sit with that. Like my wife told me, she said, even if you suck, you are funny.
Yeah. You
can have a bad night, but that doesn't change that you're still funny.
Yes.
And I was like, all this crap was happening at the same time. I was like, Jesus, I'm one person. Okay. Yes. What do you think of me? Because I know you say, you're not supposed to give me more than I can bear. Obviously, you think too highly of me. Knock it down a couple notches. Let's reassess who I am, because you're giving me too much. Okay. But once the worst happened and I survived, then it was okay. And knowing all the stuff that was fearful, it happened. The dragging happened, the articles happened, the people left, the everything changed. That was the worst happened. And I like my boy Derek Luke said, Antoine Fisher, I'm still standing. I'm still strong.
And you stronger probably because your jokes probably was hitting good after that. Because you was like, here's the mistake I made. Here's why it wasn't that hitting. Here's what I'm gonna tweak about the next joke. So then you come back even better. So it's like the fail had to happen for Kev 2.0 to happen. Because Kev 1.0 was not leveling up enough.
No, let's stop. Stop. Time out. How did you know that? How did you know that's exactly what I did? I seriously was like, assess. Here's where I messed up. Literally and low key, my wife had been saying this. I was doing too much. I wasn't preparing for my jokes. I was a little afraid and I didn't attack it. I just was kind of like, is this funny? Or do you guys maybe like, no? And I have had nothing even close since then. How did you know, Luvvie?
Because that happened with me. Because our lives are parallel.
Man.
The gift of friendships like yours is that we get to watch and see everybody coming up at the same time. We're all really going through different things.
Yeah.
In our different silos. And honestly, like it's interesting to watch. It's interesting to see just the growth that we all have had in all these. Listen, I'm always like, people see us now, and I'm just like, they might assume anything of us. I call myself an 18-year overnight success for that reason.
Right.
You know, the people who just found me last week or 2 months ago, I'm like, y'all don't realize the 3 hours every Thursday night that I was putting into
Man.
And I wasn't getting paid for it. I wasn't getting paid for that.
Nothing.
I
couldn't even monetize my YouTube videos because I had songs in there. I was just doing it because I really loved it.
Like it's madness. But I think for me, the gift of the growth and seeing the platforms, we both have our own different platforms now. I have Love Nation, my app. For those of y'all who don't know, I do have an app where it's a safe space in a dumpster fire world. We're going to figure out how to start charging for it soon.
Right.
Kev has KevOnStage Studios, his app, where you can watch all this creative stuff created by Black and brown people.
Yeah.
Anytime you want.
It's just joy.
So give them details about the app real quick.
Okay. How much time do you have, Luvvie? Because I see at least 2 more good questions, but I don't want to push you past your time.
They want this to keep going. I'm good for it to keep going.
I think we have time for one last question.
Man.
I know. Sorry. Time flies.
For more time. Who is making these decisions that we have to stop? Who are the people in charge? No. Okay. The people in our ear are telling us one last question, but I'll take 2. Okay. Here's the answer to your question.
Troublemaker. Okay.
Professional troublemaker, because the people got to hear the word of God.
Okay. The people want more.
Studios app is a place for my homegirl called it digital Black joy. Right. I think all the stories matter, right? I think Black people, we complain, and I think it's a valid complaint. So many of our stories are traumatic, and they are always told, and rightfully told. Judas and the Black Messiah, Fred Hampton's story needs to be told. But that is a heavy film to watch.
Yes. Oh my God.
Me and Melissa were like, I can't go to bed. I'm enraged. I can't go to sleep. All we want to do is give you that option after you've had to watch that. When you say, man, I just need a laugh real quick, that's us. KevOnStage Studios. It's a place for underrepresented and underserved Black people, people of color, marginalized communities to have a space to create content for those same people who want to watch it. Those other stories that are fun, coming of age stories, just fun, just silly stuff sometimes. Obviously, we'll get into some drama stuff and all that. But when you want to laugh, come over here to KevOnStage Studios. Imagine Suge Knight saying, you want people laughing all in the videos? Come to KevOnStage Studios. Right? That's the goal. And I'm being very intentional because of this pandemic. Another thing I learned about was what Black men can be, right? The term I learned was what is it? God dang it, I'm nervous. Intersectionality, right? And how Black men can benefit from it, often at the expense of Black women, right? Without realizing it. And I had to ask myself, what can I do to change the balance of that? What part can I play? First thing I did, I hired my homegirl, Angel, to be a co-host on my podcast, right? I know 100 Black men that could have replaced her. I don't know that many Black women. What I needed to do was be intentional about replacing a man with a woman, right? Doggone best thing ever. This woman is funnier than me, quicker than me. She can hold her own weight. She had her own audience. She was a doggone godsend because I was doing a podcast by myself, dying, Luvvie. And she came and breathed new life into the whole thing. And I called her. I said, how can I amplify your voice? That's what I asked her, because I learned that when I was learning about intersectionality. But from my cousin, who's 10 years younger than me, 10 years, she taught me about it. She sent me a research paper by Black woman from Chicago, maybe. I don't want to be wrong. But that's what I did. First show we ever produced on the app. The first show that we produced is for a Black woman, Keisha E. It's called Black Card Off Layaway. Keisha is a Black girl from Detroit who missed out on all the Black movies, literally all of them. Don't know how to braid, play dominoes, fried chicken. And I said, guess what? Every Black person has something that all Black people should know how to do that they don't. At least, and there's 1 or 2 movies that we haven't seen. We don't say it loudly, but there's 1 or 2. That's the first show we created because I wanted to be intentional about creating, you as the star of something and using my platform to lift other people up. Because it's, for me, it's not just making KevOnStage this big name, right? It's for, hey, let me lend my name to you. Let me lend my platform to you and let you have the artistic choice that you want. She had that show. I didn't go tell her what to say and how to say it. I said, girl, this is what we developed together. Do your thing. Right. And I'm so excited about that stuff. So you can go to KevOnStage Studios on any app platform and get that. You can get it by the year or by the month. Okay. For my one question, since we only have one, I'm trying to decide which one I want to do.
Somebody said they can't convo or double dutch. It's okay. I can't either.
We did both of those episodes. We literally did how Black women learn how to braid to the head and learn how to double dutch. Literally both of those. Okay. I think this is the one we'll end with if we must end. Okay. Love you.
People was like, wait, hold on a second. People was like, y'all want to do IG live?
Listen, I don't mind, Luvvie. I don't mind.
When we get off this, we can get on IG live, Kev.
Romans, are you sure of Romans? Because are you sure you want to let the people go somewhere else? It's up to y'all because these are the paying people. I'd love to let the paying people know, but it don't make me no never mind, Luvvie. It don't make me no never mind.
Look, I'm down, but anyway, you can ask a question.
So I'm just ask the question.
I'm so angry.
We are literally professional troublemaking right now.
We are right now.
What new things have you learned about yourself during the process of writing this book? I thought that was good. That's a good one.
What new thing have I learned about myself? Woo! Oh man, I feel like the book in itself is a new thing that I learned about myself. But I would say that that my need for control is a form of anxiety.
I said yourself, Luvvie, not me.
That I actually do.
Say more about that.
Yes, the need for control is a form of anxiety because anxiety comes up when you are not sure how something will pan out. So that you take it on and say, if I am responsible for it, it will pan out as good as it could possibly pan out.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, snap. I think I have anxiety. Like, because everything, I'm always like working through scenarios in my head about, okay, how could it go wrong? How can I mitigate that risk? And it is something that I realized as I was writing this book and as I was putting these words on paper, I was like, oh, okay. This is the way that I try to make sense of my world. This is the way that I try to have things go as well as possible. And it is something that I'm trying to figure out how to work around. It takes us back to where we started with firing ourselves. Personally and professionally. I definitely have, and I will ask 1,000 questions. I need to see it on paper. And then I'm go, okay, that's the plan. Now I feel better. That's actually what makes me that's part of what makes me a good writer is that I process everything in black and white. I gotta see it on paper, and that gives me comfort. That lets me move forward with the idea that there's a plan in mind.
Woo! Man, you've been all in my business all night, man.
All night.
I mean, you literally been in my business all night. But you know what? I'm grateful for it. So that concludes our.
I will say this though. One more thing that I'm gonna say that I need you to do for me. If you loved this conversation, because I am committed to hit the New York Times bestselling list, not just because I want the bragging rights, that's nice, but because if I end up on the New York Times bestselling list again, 2-time bestseller, it puts me in a new class. But that does it now opens up the doors for more Black and brown people to be able to be taken seriously in publishing.
Yes.
In the category that I'm in, that Professional Troublemaker is in, it's considered the how to advise miscellaneous column. It's one of the toughest categories to be in for the Times list.
Okay.
There are very few Black people in that list. Actually, right now, if you looked on that list, none of us are on that list right now.
Wow.
Zero. There's 0 Black people on that how-to list right now. And if there is, they made like a cookbook. If that, I don't even think that exists. So I need your help to get this book on the Times list. By y'all coming here, you already bought a copy. By y'all having the ticket, you already bought a copy. Buy another copy of the hardcover today for a friend, for a family member, for a sister who needs to.
You know what, Luvvie? I'm gonna go interrupt you. Liz, I feel like a pastor at a revival.
Come on.
I've been so moved by this conversation and what you poured into me. You know, listen, we already bought 100, me and Liz.
Y'all did. Thank you.
You know what, Luvvie? Put us down for another 100.
Come on.
Put us down for have King Luvvie. And I want to give it away to Melissa's book club or Patreon or Luvvie, however you want to give it away to people who want it, who ain't got the means, women, whatever. I want to sow into good ground. As my pastor, I want to sow into good ground. When you see, and you done spoke enough into me on the night. I got to talk with my wife about it, but I'm pretty sure she won't allow me. She in here somewhere. We're gonna sow another 100 into the building fund, into the Prophetess Jones. Because I feel like God used you tonight for me and for the people listening. We're gonna do another 100. You know, get my pocketbook, get my checkbook.
Come on.
And I'm a man of my word. We're gonna give them away however you see fit, Luvvie. Yes. On behalf of the Stage Crew and our support, Stage Crew International Church. On behalf of our community of Black people, we want you to get to that list. I don't know how many copies got to be sold to make it. Come on. But I'm putting another 100 on it right now. We believe in God that we're gonna get that bestseller in the name of Jesus.
That's what. Come on, Pastor.
Yeah, that
y'all was talking about where can you put in the collection plate? That's how you put it into collection plate. Even if it's one copy, even if it's 2 extra copies, buy a copy on today.
Today.
Tell somebody to buy a copy of this book. I need this book to fly. I need this book to soar because it goes beyond me. This book will open gates. This book is a trailblazer. I am blazing the trail. You know why there's no blurb on the cover of this book? Because there was no Black woman who's in this category who could blurb this book. The back has Issa, but Issa's not even in this category. She's in nonfiction, hardback. I want to be the person who can now blurb somebody else's book because
I love it.
So, man.
Amen. We believe in God, Luvvie.
Amen. And leave a review on Amazon, on all these places. All of it matters. And Kev, you just blessed my spirit.
I had to, Luvvie. You've been a great friend of mine. You supported me before you even knew me. And it ain't nothing. It's just, as my first pastor, Elder Suffolk and Bishop Elder Carr said, it's just nice to be nice.
Come on.
And it just means so much to me to be able to have the means to support my friends who I know are doing. It's such an important thing. And I know your heart's in the right place, right? It's not about Luvvie getting rich. Luvvie ain't chasing no dollar. Luvvie gonna be all right. And I just want I want you to be able to loan courage to 100 more people, because if 100 more people are courageous, imagine what they can do.
My mission is to loan courage to 1 million people with this book. I want this book to change 1 million lives. That is the audacious goal that I am putting out. And so that 100, you just got me even closer. Thank you. Come on.
All right, we got to close. Y'all.
I feel so bad because I don't want this to end. This was such a fun and insightful conversation. Thank you, Luvvie. Thank you, Kev. If you guys can make like a virtual applause in the chat, use like the clap emoji.
Emojis in the comments, y'all. We want to see the support in the comments section for Evangelist Jones.
Okay, thank you, Stanley. They said they want an IG live after party.
Listen, Luvvie, I don't mind going. I would go live on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram.
Let's do it.
We do it right after. I'm gonna text you right after. I'm gonna send you over the link.
Yeah, if you guys follow them, make sure to check that out. Again, we do have the replay available after this broadcast ends. So if you came in late or have a friend who purchased a ticket but wasn't able to attend tonight, don't worry. Just use the same stream link and password and they'll be able to access it. Also, if you would like to purchase an audiobook or an extra hardcover copy from Romans, just click on the Support Romans link below the viewer screen. It will take you to our website where you can do that. And I think that about covers it. Thank you, everyone, again. And stay safe, everyone.
God
bless you. See y'all on IG Live, fam.
All right.
We gonna be on.
Bye.
Bye.